Hey everyone, grateful to have you guys tuning in for today's message, and as per usual, hoping that today's message is one that resonates with you. I'm going to talk about a very big topic around forgiveness, and I think every single one of us has had an experience where this has come into the mix, right? Like the contemplation of whether to forgive or not forgive, right? Do they deserve our forgiveness or do they not, right? And so I want to bring a different twist to today's conversation in the hope, as usual, that it is of value to you guys, and maybe there's a particular situation or person or set of circumstances that you've experienced in your life that maybe it happened a good while ago, right? And you've been carrying around this resistance to forgiveness for a long period of time, and maybe that's exactly where you've needed to be. And today's message, before I get into it, like what I first want to say is what I want to share with you guys today is by no means a process of trying to shame people into premature forgiveness. All right, that's not where we're going today. I want to help, as I usually aim to do, to empower you as an individual and share with you a different perspective that personally has helped me and supported me. It's helped different clients that I have in my current sphere and have had in the past. And my whole purpose is to help you to free yourself and not be limited by anybody or any circumstance that has or hasn't happened for you that could be connected to today's topic. So today I want to talk about forgiveness as being a clearing the bond of the wound. So what the hell does that mean? As usual, going to dive into it and unpack this one for you. But basically, I want to start with this amazing quote by Mark Twain. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, it just so deeply resonated with me. And that's why I want to share it with you guys to start off our conversation today. But his quote is, "Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that crushed it." So if you really just sit with that for a moment, and it's funny because I remember as a little girl, the smell of violets was like my favorite in the world. Like we had some violets in the garden, and I just remember picking them as a little girl, and I just loved the smell of violets. And so when I heard this Mark Twain quote, I was actually instantly taken back to how beautiful that is. And it really resonated with this topic, right? To think of forgiveness being the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that crushed it. Right? That's a very moving and empowering quote to think about when we're contemplating forgiveness. But I want to talk about forgiveness from the way that I do, which is to empower whoever's in front of me who is struggling with the concept of forgiveness, right? Because there's so much that we can do in different modalities and different therapies and all sorts of things that can acknowledge, what somebody has done or not done that wasn't okay, right? That wasn't right. And we need to acknowledge that. It's not about skipping over it and, bypassing the work that needs to be done and the hurt that needs to be expressed and felt through. But what I want to talk about is having a different, more empowering perspective that takes back the power that might be placed in these external people or circumstances and puts it within you as the individual, right? So that you can be free, that you can be in the driver's seat of what happens and what occurs in your life. And so I want to look at the concept of that contemplation of forgiveness of another for what they've done or not done, right? Whatever it is. And I want us to look at it from the perspective of that being a mirror to different parts of our own journey and our own choices that merit the same contemplation. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about how our resistance to forgiveness to some external source can be a mirror to our resistance to the forgiveness necessary within ourselves. And when I talk about that, I feel like there's these two kind of forgiveness realms, paths that we can kind of take in a way. So there's the forgiveness of another, and there's the forgiveness of ourselves. And through my own experience, that I can share some things with you guys today, and through the experiences that I see so many people that I get to work with and get to connect with and get to support on the personal and on the professional level in this realm of forgiveness, the pattern that I see, my own experience and others, and try this on for size and see if it works for you, is that any resistance that we have to the forgiveness of others is actually a beautiful mirror. I'm not condoning anything anybody else does. It has nothing to do with them, right? We're having an empowered discussion about you and your choices and your own empowerment. Our resistance to the forgiveness of another is that beautiful mirror to highlight and make us aware of the lack and the resistance of forgiveness that we're actually giving to ourselves. And maybe it's very much in the actual situation, or very much tied to the connection to this person that we're resisting our forgiveness to, right? Might be very much direct, that exact circumstance with that exact person. Or it could be to do with something totally different, something buried more further maybe under the surface that you're not forgiving yourself for. Maybe you feel guilt or shame around, right? And what we can do is know that there is a wound that we are bound to whenever we have a resistance to forgiveness, whether that's the forgiveness of another or forgiveness of ourselves. And the act of forgiveness to other or to self is the greatest act of generosity and self-love you can ever have for yourself, because it's the acknowledgement of your own wounding and the willingness to heal your own wounds. And I heard Wayne Dyer express this saying, and I don't know where it came from or whatever, but let's just talk about it right now. He said, no one ever dies of a snake bite. They die from the venom that continues to circulate through the body well after the fact of the bite. And that's what our resistance to forgiveness is, right? The act is the bite, but it's what ends up circulating within us that's creating the death, right? That's the wound, that's the pain. Our resistance to what's happened and our lack of taking responsibility and control of what we choose to do with it, right? And I'm not wanting this message to be of any way something to shame people who are trapped in this resistance of forgiveness. There's processes, there's time, there's healing that is required to take place, and you are on your own unique journey of that. No one can tell you how long it should take, right? My intention for this conversation is to acknowledge the journey that you're on and to hopefully just share a perspective that could free you from circulating all that poison, so you can just acknowledge the bite for what it's been and then choose to respond to it in a way that heals your wounds. And so this is the key point. Every time we're stepping into a new level of empowerment, what that really is the taking of responsibility and the mirror back to us. It's not about them if it's to do with somebody else in your life or who's been in your life, that you're still holding on to this resistance of forgiveness, right? That comes out in anger, right? And what is anger all about? Anger has a positive purpose to re-empower you in places you feel disempowered, or in the conversation that we're having today, to heal the wounds that you're bound to, right? It's here to put that energy towards your own healing. But you can't heal if you put all your power in never having had that snake bite you, right? That's the resistance to what is. It's happened. It is what it is. What you have to work with, don't try and work with trying to rewind the past and have the snake not bite you, because that's not actually the problem. The problem is the venom that's continuing to circulate through your body because you're not doing what it takes to heal it. And like I said, you're on your own journey. Don't prematurely forgive when it's not authentic. Just realize that the power is within you to go on this journey. And to realize that what we project out, our resistance to forgiveness of what is and what has been, is the beautiful mirror reflecting back to us our pathway to re-empowerment, which is, where am I not forgiving myself in this exact circumstance or in something maybe deeper? So maybe in that exact circumstance, it was, I wish I had have responded differently. I let them treat me this way, right? I could have done this better, right? And I can't forgive myself for that. You know, whatever it is, that could be the self-inflicted wound that is going on in the equation, that is the circulating of the venom way beyond the snake bite, right? Or it could just be that you're continuing to have that venom circulate that's been inflicted by the other, right? And it's all a process of re-empowering yourself. But look at forgiveness this way. It's not about the other person. It's not about letting them off the hook. It's not about condoning poor behavior and poor treatment. What it's really about is healing that bind that you have to the wound, to removing the venom that's been circulating in your body well beyond the event of the snake bite. Right? There's so much power and freedom and fulfillment to be had when you take back your own power and you stop projecting it onto something that has been, that cannot be changed, and you stop having resistance to that, and you start owning whether you're allowing that venom to circulate within yourself, and you go about the journey of healing that bind to the wound that you have. It's time to create a new identity for yourself that is free from the past, that is free from the venom, that's in non-resistance. It's in total presence to what is and what can be done, so that your future self, can look back on this time and go, thank goodness I had the courage to take responsibility, to own that, to go on my own healing journey, not skip over it, right? With positive thinking and just not doing the work. All that positive thinking stuff does help, right? I'm not discounting it at all. But so many people sit on one side or the other of the extreme. One side, total resistance. I will never forgive, right? Venom circulating. And you're building it and focusing on that venom. The other side of the spectrum is, I totally forgive all and everything, but you've never really done the work, and you're not even willing to look at the venom that's continuously circling around your body and your being and guiding you the direction of your life, right? We don't want to be totally in resistance, right? And we don't want to be totally dissociated and self-deceiving. We want to step into the moment of truth and the reality of what is and has been, and put the power back in our own hands. And like I said, use forgiveness as the greatest act of generosity and self-love that you can give to yourself, your future self, and all the people who love and care about you and who will love and care about you in your future. Right? So I really, really hope that me just diving into this topic with you guys today is of value, and it gets you thinking because, honestly, I can think about the times in my life where I have, and the recent moments as well, where I've been like, oh, no, I don't like that, right? And you can get into this resistance and this judgment, but then you have to realize, okay, I got bitten by the snake. Do I just let the venom continue to circulate in my being well after the event? Or do I choose to use this as a mirror into myself? And personally, when I've looked at those circumstances with other people, I've honestly just been able to see that I was inflicting a new wound within myself of my lack of forgiveness of myself and not being empowered. But that defeats the purpose, right? Because I'm being given another opportunity to re-empower myself. So I don't want this to add to the equation of my wounding, right? By continuously disempowering myself and not taking responsibility and not putting the mirror upon myself to go, okay, this is my pathway of growth. What have I got to do? What darkness do I have to address? Who do I want to be as a result of this? What has this taught me about the person that I want to be and refuse not to be? What standards does this, enlist in my life as to what I want to uphold about, the treatment, the behavior, the states of being, whatever it is? What's the wisdom here? What are the lessons here that I choose to take forward with me? Right? That's empowering yourself. So be kind to yourself wherever you are on the timeline. You don't have to forgive and forget in the moment. It might take you a month. It might take you a year. It might take you 20 years. But just have this perspective in mind and have the courage and the willingness to look in that mirror and just go, where am I not forgiving myself? Why am I inflicting such pain upon myself well and truly after the snake bite? Right? Like, that's what we want to focus on. And that's how we become our most empowered selves. So don't get trapped in the mentality of to forgive is to condone. It's not. It's got nothing to do with them. And it's got everything to do with you healing the wounds and the bind that you have to those wounds that were inflicted by that snake bite, but in your refusal to allow the venom to continue to circulate. All right, that's my message for you guys today. Definitely want to check in with you guys. I'd love to hear your perspective on this, your words of wisdom, or any questions or comments that you'd love to share, or just say hi. You guys know I love getting to connect with you guys. So let me check in. I have got Bill in the house. Awesome. And AJ, hello to you. And Jared's here as well. And hey, Bill. And hey, Victoria. And Elias, good hello to you. And Craig's in the house. I love it. And Victoria, I'm loving that you're loving today's topic. That's awesome. And Craig, forgiveness is also letting go of the burden of what hurt you by telling it that it no longer serves you. I love that. So beautifully put, my friend. Grateful to have you here sharing your words of wisdom and contributing to today's conversation. And Jared, so within, so without. Yes. Thank you for your beautiful words and your valuable time. Oh, and likewise, my friend, right back at you. And so beautifully put. Absolutely. And Craig, it's also taking back your power and realigning it with your soul. Absolutely. I can tell you've had some absolute experience and growth in this realm, my friend. So appreciate your perspective. And Victoria, I love the analogy of venom. I'm thinking the side effect of the venom is bitterness. Boom. Absolutely. Totally. Right? And that's why, you can go for the bitterness or you can go for the beauty. And that's why I started today's message with that beautiful quote from Mark Twain. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that crushed it. Right? That's such a beautiful interpretation. But if we don't get it, like Victoria's saying, we might just end up in bitterness and miss the beauty available. So I love that, Victoria. And Elle's here as well. And Jared, don't skip over it, skip with it. Boom. I love that. That's so good. And Bill, Forgiveness is about helping yourself, absolutely. By just being angry, you take on their faults, absolutely. It's about your growth. Forgiveness will set you free. That's amazing and so in alignment with what we're talking about today, right? That's the empowered mindset to take with you throughout life, because people are gonna do the wrong things that trigger something within you that become that snake bite, right? That hurts you. But don't be the hurt person that hurts others or hurts yourself and inflicts that pain upon yourself. Be the hurt person who heals, right? And gives yourself that freedom, that fulfillment, and the wisdom that comes with it. So beautifully put, Bill. I so appreciate you. And thank you for your kind words there, Craig. And Bill, nice to think about the topics you bring up. Thank you. Grateful to hear that. I had so many topics and ideas today, as I usually do. And sometimes it's hard for me to narrow it down. So I'm grateful that I picked a good one for you. And Huss is in the house. I love it. So good to see you again, my friend. And Raymond, well said, gorgeous. Thank you so much, Raymond. Grateful that this resonated with you. And Simon's here, and Kevin from Indiana. Good to see you. And Tara's here as well. And Vanessa. Thanks, Vanessa. I feel I need. Awesome. Absolutely. And can't wait to see you soon, beautiful. And need some work on this. Totally. Like all of us, right? And that's the beauty of humanity, right? That we can reflect to one another, where we might need some focus. And, the greatest gift I feel that any human being can give another is the realization of something that you're blind to, right? A little bit of awareness goes a long way, because freedom and fulfillment lays on the other side of it. So as brutal and uncomfortable as sometimes those waking up moments can be for us, like, they're the greatest gifts. I don't know who said it, but I'm always repeating it. It's the gifts wrapped in sandpaper, right? Don't feel all that good in the moment to realize, but wow, all of the meaning and fulfillment in your life comes from your responsibility, right? Taking that responsibility through your own awareness, you're like, it's on me. Choose the pathway forward, right? It's no longer in those external sources. And that is so empowering, right? So I love that, Vanessa, and very grateful for you too, my friend Craig. Thank you so much. So I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining me live today. It always touches my heart to get to see you, and I really appreciate you guys sharing your experiences here, your thoughts, your perspectives, your words of wisdom, your questions, anything, to co-create this space. It gives me a lot of energy and a lot of light in my life. So you're all so appreciated. I appreciate you spending your time doing this and tuning in for these messages and helping to co-create this space. So that's it for me today. Just remember that forgiveness is clearing the bond to the wound, right? Freeing yourself from those anchors. Okay, so this is very empowering. If you take it on board, I'd love to hear how you go with that. And thank you, Bill. I'll continue to shine on. And Craig, a gift of sandpaper can turn your roughness into shine. I love that. So beautifully put. I love you guys. You're such wordsmiths. So thank you so much for contributing. And as you guys know, just every single day, go out there and live authentically, love deeply, and contribute meaningfully. That's what life is all about, as I like to say. And I hope it resonates with you as well on your journey. And I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. Much love.